Okay, let me check whether we are live on YouTube or not. But before we start, just wanted to check from you guys whether my audio and video is clear. Whether my audio and video is clear. If it is clear, you can just write clear in the chat box, please. बता दो यार, बता दो YouTube की जनता, Zoom की जनता. Right? Whether my audio video is clear or not. Yes, yes, yes. Whether my audio video is clear or not. Yes. Zoom पे I think it's clear. Waiting for the confirmation on YouTube. Waiting for the confirmation on YouTube. I think yes, perfect. It's also clear on YouTube as well. So great, guys. Really happy to have all of you here, right? And really happy to see that a lot of people have joined in for this session on MBA, right? I don't know what motivated you to join this session, but I wanted to know from you guys, what was the one motivating factor for you to join and be the part of this session, right? क्यों MBA करना है? Just wanted to know out of curiosity. मतलब CA से खुश नहीं हो क्या? Right? Just wanted to know the reason why do you want to do an MBA, right? जल्दी जल्दी बताओ. पैकेज आफ्टर एमबीए जाना है इसलिए आए हो? ओहो, पैकेज बड़ा मिलता है. गॉट इट. Why do you want to do an MBA after becoming a CA? Someone like I want a college life. Okay. So like पैसा पैसा. Okay. Great. Someone is saying post CEO मिलेगी. Okay. We want to do something great. Wanted to get into consulting. Okay. I think Bhavishya is the right person to guide it out on that. Okay. CFO बनने मिलता है, कंसल्टिंग में जाने मिलता है. कोई कह रहा है उम्र छोटी है इसलिए एमबीए करना है. ओ भाई, ये नालायक है कौन? ठीक है. ओके. गॉट इट, गॉट इट, गॉट इट, गॉट इट. तुम तो खुश है सीए से, इंडस्ट्री नहीं. ओके. गॉट इट. आर एमबीए इज बेटर देन सीए? कोमल तो पहले ही आके पहला सवाल टफ सवाल पूछ ली. ठीक है. ग्रेट. समझ गया, समझ गया. पीपल वांटेड मनी, पीपल वांटेड टू गेट इनटू डिफरेंट डोमेन, पीपल वांटेड दैट कि हम लोग अच्छा पैसा कमाएं. दैट इज व्हाई यू वांट टू डू एन एमबीए. Great. So without wasting much of our time, we'll be keeping this session on a podcast mode in the interactive way so that the people, those who have joined here, can get a lot of benefit out of it. Definitely, I want you to make some notes and we'll open the forum at the end for Q&A for all of you guys, those who are sitting here. घर पे डाउट लेके जाना नहीं. ठीक है. बेशरम होके डाउट पूछ के जाना. ठीक है. I'll cover and take the doubts for the people, those who are interactive and participative. Right. I have my very good friend. She has joined in from IIM Ahmedabad. राइट. आई एम अहमदाबाद से डायरेक्टली शी हैव जॉइंड इन टू जस्ट गाइड यू. मैंने सिर्फ एक कॉल किया उनको कि यार प्लीज आ जाओ. राइट. पहले तो उसने मुझे डाटा के तूने प्रॉमिस किया था कि कॉल मी अर्लियर, बट आई डिड नॉट इनवाइटेड हर बैक. बट यस, सिंस स्टूडेंट्स वांटेड दिस सेशन, वी आल्सो वांटेड वन ऑफ द बेस्ट स्पीकर. राइट. सो विदाउट वेस्टिंग मच ऑफ अ टाइम, राइट, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू, वीडियो ऑन करके, अनम्यूट करके, जोरदार तालियों के साथ मैम का वेलकम करेंगे. राइट. जोरदार तालियों के साथ we welcome Bhavishya for this session.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
welcome.
Welcome, ma'am.
And thank you so much for your valuable time.
No problem. I'm
Welcome,
glad
ma'am.
that Shivam invited me today, and I'm really happy to see a lot of people on the call here. So good that you guys are thinking about doing MBA post CA. I'll talk about my reasons for doing MBA after CA, and then we can have a chat on whether it will be a good value addition for you or not. So
Great. एक सेकंड बस भविष्य, I'll just put every one of them on mute because क्या है कि this people, you know, background noises is gonna be there. Yes. So Bhavishya, we'll keep it more on a podcast mode so that we'll cover all the questions one by one. Right. It's gonna be more of an impromptu for you as well. वैसे 20 school guys को जरूरत नहीं होता है preparation का. That is what I've learned. Right. So the first question which I wanted you to answer for all of the students sitting here is, कि what motivated you to do an MBA and what is one of the motivating factor for this people to think of an MBA?
okay. So this is one of the questions that I had thought, okay, just before joining. मैंने इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं सोचा था, सिर्फ यही सोचा था कि what is my reason to do MBA. So as CA students, all of us know that we don't have a college life. So one of the most popular reason for a lot of CA students to go for MBA is to enjoy the 2 years at MBA here and then slog for the rest of their life. The second reason is to switch domains. So mostly if you all must be in finance roles or audit roles or in Big Four, similar domains related to finance. So a lot of you must have aspirations to, become CEOs of companies or into management roles who have a control over different domains of a business, be it operations or strategy or finance or marketing. So for that, MBA is a really good, it opens up really good opportunities either through placements in the campus or through jobs off campus also. It opens you up to a different stream of operations. Then the third uh, reason, which is actually inspired by my dad's journey, is after a point of time in your career, if you want to go to further roles, right? If you want a further promotion, most often than not, MBA becomes the criteria that the company looks for. So if you're not a postgraduate student, they don't promote you over a certain position. So then your career becomes stagnant and it doesn't grow as much. So that was one of the reasons why I chose to do an MBA, looking at the career progression of members in my family, of how they complained that if they would have done a postgraduate program, they would be in a better position with that same kind of experience. The fourth is also a reason, as you say, many people come come to IIMs and find a spouse. So this is also
अच्छा
a reason to most people. Shivam had actually told me that मैं शायद इस reason के लिए MBA करूंगा, but then he dropped. I don't know, शायद मिल गई कोई. But
नहीं बोलना था ये हाँ
these are the four reasons, and for me, first reason, which is enjoying college life, and the second reason, which is changing domains of career. So I was interested in management consulting, so that's where I'll be going. And the last 2 years of my life have been the best years, I would say. Uh, yeah, people have different goals even after they come to MBA. Some want to focus on acads and want to become institute rankers. Some focus on their relationship, while some focus on having just fun and indulging in a lot of different activities, club activities and events and all those kind of things. So yeah, I chose the latter and I don't regret it. सब हो जाता है साथ में, placements भी हो
great
जाते हैं, decent grades
great
भी होते हैं, तो that
great so one of the reason which you mentioned, since a lot of people are thinking पैसा चाहिए, domain switch करना है, career growth चाहिए, and few people have their perspective कि they want a better spouse and whatnot, right? So all the blue ticks are there, but the question is कि ठीक है, I know I need to do an MBA, right? Definitely we'll come to the processes and the steps, but the question is when I should do it. When as in कि should I do it as in when I cleared as a CA final exams, CA बन गया तुरंत कर लूँ? Should I do it after 2 years? Should I do it after 3 years? Should I do a 2 year MBA or should I do a 1 year MBA?
Hmm. So I'll give you my perspective on this question. So I feel the ideal time for a CA to do an MBA is with at least 2 years of work experience.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason why. So this is the general trend also. So in my campus, there we are around 20 CAs and there's only one guy who is a fresher. And usually, I don't know if you guys know, but for CAs to get into IIMs, at least the top IIMs, you need to get at least 98 percentile. So this is if you have a decent number of months as work experience. If you don't, you are at least required to get above 99 percentile. And I'll tell you the reason why. When we sit for summer placements, which happens around 6 months into the campus, so 6 months into when you start MBA, you'll be preparing your CV and you'll be sitting for placements. Now, when you sit for placements, as a CA, you will not have anything to fill the one pager if you have not done a work experience, because articleship is not counted as work experience. Then you'll stand a lot different than the other CAs in the batch. So it is an unsaid rule that CAs have an advantage when it comes to summer placements because we bring in the diversity that a lot of companies are looking for. Not everybody here has a background in finance. Not everybody understands finance as we do. So they are looking for such candidates. And in such a case, when you have 19 people who have around 2 years of work experience and who have done a varied kind of work in those 2 years, you will stand different if you don't have that work experience. So that is one of the reasons why I would suggest not to come as a fresher, in addition to the high percentile that you will be required to get if you want the same kind of shortlists that the other CAs are getting. Also, the curriculum at IIM or at other top B schools also is designed such that if you have a if you have some years of work experience, it becomes really easy for you to engage in those conversations and to understand what is being talked about in the case studies that are discussed in class. If you're not a fresher, although you are very close to what was taught academically and you are able to apply those kind of concepts quite well, still it lacks the practical application that the other students bring in. So that becomes a little difficult for freshers to understand. This is for a 2 year MBA, which mostly, so if you see, even the average age on campus is around 25 to 26, which means most people have around 2 years of work experience here. Now, if you decide to, I agree that it becomes a little difficult to get back to studies after 2 years of job, right? But as I said, we'll talk about how to prepare for CAT, but 98 percentile in CAT is not very difficult if you give like a good 3 4 months before the first attempt of CAT. Now, 4 years of people with 4 years or more usually go for the executive programs, which is generally for 1 year, or they go to ISB, which also offers a 1 year program. Now, there again, companies which come in for placements offer a higher position. Like, for example, if they offer a junior, McKinsey offers a junior associate for 2 year graduates, it offers a consultant role for the executive students. So it is expected that there people who've come in are already managers or above in their specific career paths, and now they're looking to change a domain or probably coming to get the tag of IIM or tag of a B school, which is why the average age there is around 30 years or even greater than 30 years. So that is a distinction why people go in for 1 year or 2 years.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So you recommend that the people should have a better 1 or 2 years of experience and then they should go.
Right.
Now the bigger question is कि ठीक है MBA करना है, that is decided. I'll go it and start my thought process कि अभी करना है, but I'll work into some companies. The question is कि do the brand is important for my journey after becoming a CA? मतलब कि if I work in some mediocre organization, or if I work in some of the bigger brands like Big Fours or top firms or global brands, तो ये ब्रांड मैटर करेगा या मैं कहीं पे भी जॉब करूँ 2 साल चलेगा और आफ्टर दैट आई गो फॉर एन एमबीए और पैरेलल आई प्रिपेयर फॉर एन एमबीए एंड गो फॉर एमबीए?
So the company where you did doesn't matter. Even the role that you were in does not matter. What matters is the work that you did and the impact that you created. So in interviews also, they will not ask you, they will majorly ask you about the work that you did and the impact that you created. I'll tell you my journey. So I was with Udan for around 19 months post my CA, and Udan was not a very well-known name, and a lot of interviews, especially during when I was giving interviews to get into IIM, Udan was not a very popular name, and a lot of interviewers didn't know what it is. So in fact, that created a conversation ki, okay, what does it do? What was your role? What is the impact that you created? So it is not necessary that you only if you do in Big Four or if you do in well-known companies, it adds some value to your CV. That is not the case, at least till MBA or till you are appearing for summer placements. Now, there's one more aspect that might add value is uh, your marks in CA, which I think all of us have passed that. But if you are a ranker or if you in the top, like if you are in the top percentile in the CA marking list, then that is a little added advantage that you get when it comes to placements.
Yes, yes, got it. So I think you had a rank in inter as well as in final. So that
Yes.
must have helped you out to get into
Yeah.
IMS. Yeah.
But interestingly, in my batch, so in the previous batches, out of 20 people, around 10 or more were rankers. But interestingly, in my batch, there were only two rankers. So I think they're trying to dilute that, importance that they used to give to rank holders before. That is not the case anymore going forward. So
Got
everybody is almost at the same level now.
Got it, got it, got it. ठीक है, मतलब ये क्लियर हो गया कि ब्रांड इतना जरूरी नहीं है, बट हैविंग इट इज गोना बी गेटिंग मी एन एज बिकॉज दे आर गोना बी लुकिंग फॉर एन इम्पैक्ट इन द जर्नी आउट. नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज कि अब तो थॉट प्रोसेस है कि एमबीए करना है. द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ शुड आई स्टार्ट दिस जर्नी? मतलब व्हेन शुड आई स्टार्ट माय स्टडीज? हाउ मच टाइम इट टुक टू स्टडी आउट? या मैं आज ही सीए बना हूँ और इफ आई एम रिसेंटली फ्रेशली क्वालिफाइड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, तो आई शुड स्टार्ट माय स्टडीज फॉर 2 years. तो हाउ शुड दिस जर्नी बी?
So CAT is always, so I'm talking about CAT. CAT is for me all IIMs. Then there are other exams for different institutes, like XLRI has its own entrance exam, and then NMIMS has its own entrance exam. So CAT happens every year in the last Sunday of November. So ideally, you should start preparing for it from Feb.
Okay.
Ideally, I'm telling you, at least at least 6 to 7 months prior, you should start preparing. And in some colleges, you have the option of deferring admission. So, like if you get in this year, you can defer it to 2 years. So, if you think
Yeah.
कि okay, मेरा first attempt में शायद ना हो, you can start giving it even 2 years before you start working, like after, soon after you clear your CA, saying that okay, मैं defer कर लूंगा, 2 साल का work experience लेके फिर मैं join करूंगा, because you are closer to studying then, and you are in that zone of studying. But this happens in IIM Ahmedabad, like you can defer admission in IIM Ahmedabad. I'm not sure about the other colleges. But yeah, so I'll tell you my journey. I had started in Feb. I had taken a coaching class. That was the COVID time, so was doing online classes. And these classes were daily for around 3 hours. They used to post the videos on their online website, and I could view them anytime. So at that time, I was simultaneously working as well. So I couldn't spare a lot of time to study. But I would advise everybody to at least on weekends, take some time to study, because I'll tell you what, there is a huge change in mindset when it comes to you, when it comes to CAs especially, because we are used to giving CAs exam जिसमें आपको सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर करना है. So like in 10th or 12th or in all CAs exams, you have that mindset that okay, I have to answer all questions. And it rarely, matlab, at least in 10th and 12th, it rarely happens that you don't know the answer to questions. But in CAT, that is not the case. In CAT, what is most essential is you choosing your strengths and only answering those questions, because there is a huge negative marking, and also there is a time crunch. So whatever you are sure about the accuracy and the speed of your concepts, you should only attempt those. अगर सब attempt करने जाओगे तो गलत भी होंगे, और मतलब you can't optimize your knowledge. So that is a huge shift of mindset that I had to do, because अगर मुझे कुछ नहीं आ रहा था, even on the last day, I used to panic, because we are not used to not knowing. We are used to answering 100% of the paper. So यहाँ पे even if you get 50% of the marks, you will be 98 percentile above. So that is
अच्छा.
the huge mindset change that you have to do, and that will take a lot of time. Also, it is true that engineers have an edge when it comes to CAT. That is why they get 99.99 percentile, because quants is difficult for us. So there are three papers. The first is VARC, which is verbal ability and reading comprehension. The second is quantitative methods. And the third is data reasoning and logical interpretation. So for us, data reasoning and logical interpretation is easy, because they are kind of caselets, or that we need, that it's basically about data crunching and using your general knowledge, not even general knowledge, like computing ability to solve them. So for that paper, there are 5 caselets that they are asked in the paper, and for 40 minutes. And if you do 3 caselets, you are in the top 99 percentile. So here in this paper, what becomes important is you choosing the case that you want to solve. Because a lot of cases, what happens is you tend to choose a wrong one, and then you are not able to solve it. So 10 minutes usme gaye, and then you panic, and that spills over to the others that you're going to solve. So in that, what is most advisable is you take your time in reading and then understanding what is being asked of it, and then attempting, because उसमें obviously हमेशा data interpretation के 2 cases होते हैं, which is a giveaway, which is nothing. You just have to read a bar graph and answer the multiple choice questions. So that is why in this question, in this paper, it is important for you to identify which ones you want to solve, and then giving your full focus on getting all the questions right in that particular 3 caselets. Now coming to quantitative methods. These are basic concepts that you would have studied in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th if you had maths. Like you have time, speed, then you have geometry, basic geometry, then you have basic algebra. Isme you have to identify your strengths. Geometry, if it is not your strength, you can spend 10 minutes on that question, you will not know the answer. 10 minutes gone, two marks also gone. Here you have to identify your strengths. There'll be some 26 questions or something, I'm not sure. But you would need to choose what concepts you want to attempt. If you are accurate in that, even if you attempt like 50% or a little more than 50%, you are in the top 98 percentile. इसमें accuracy is what matters. If you know the answer, like if you know what is to be applied, 10 seconds is the maximum that you're going to take to answer that question. So that is how you have to train your mind you have to train your mind into understanding what direction you have to think for that particular question. So this will happen only with the more practice you do, you will be able to identify. Like if you do some 300, actually 300 is also less, 500 questions on time and speed, question देखते ही समझ जाएगा कि okay, this is similar to this kind of a question that I have already practiced, इसमें ये kind of logic लगाना है. हमेशा ऐसे नहीं होगा कि you have to solve it out, उसमें there will be a trick to get to the answer in 10 seconds that you will understand with the more questions you solve. So there are a lot of reference books that I can suggest, that even your coaching classes are going to suggest. There are a lot of material available online that you can use, especially for quant. That so this is what helped me in quant. Again, my experience last day of CAT, I started answering quant ke first say questions. First 5 questions I couldn't answer. I went into panic. Then I had to calm myself. I started from the last question. I was able to solve a few questions, and then I could gain my confidence again. So इसमें ऐसा नहीं होता है that you have to follow an order. You can follow any order. So as soon as you find a question that plays to your strength, that okay, geometry मेरा strength है, ये geometry का question है, you can attempt that, and then आगे के questions you can see कि क्या है. Then coming to VARC, this is a little tricky paper. Some people are naturally strong in English, they tend to do well. For others, it is a little difficult. So verbal ability mein you have para jumbles, you have complete the sentence. So parajumble seems easy, right? There will be four sentences, and you have to give them an order in which these sentences will make sense. आपको लगेगा कि ये order में तो sense बना रहा है, मतलब it will make sense to you. But then there is a lot of thinking that goes behind it. It should be like a cause effect relationship, and it should be a logical, chronological. Then there are a lot of other kind of structures that can come in. So most of the times here it is tricky, and मतलब मेरे तो I think काफी पैराजम्बल्स गलत हुए थे. But then again, these are the kind of questions where there's no negative marking. So in the whole paper, there'll be type in the answer questions, which are not multiple choice questions. You just have to type your answer. So उसमें negative marking नहीं होता है. Correct है तो correct है, otherwise you get 0. For the other type of questions where you have to select one of the options, in that there is a negative marking, which then becomes a little difficult because you can't afford to be wrong there. Here you can afford to be wrong because there's no negative marking. So like verbal ability is little difficult, but that also comes with practice, and there are a few professors who actually helped, like their way of solving para jumbles actually helped me. So I can share that with Shivam, and he can share it to you. So that is how I tackle verbal ability. Now, reading comprehension made it as simple as you in 8th standard, where you used to read a comprehension and answer a few questions. It is like that is the concept, but it is really difficult because they will have like abstract comprehensions. They'll have comprehensions about art and history and culture, and it is very difficult to understand. It is not like they use difficult words or anything, but the concepts that they have is not what we are used to not we are used to reading. So we used to reading novels which are written in a very not very difficult to interpret, or we used to reading newspapers. They are a little different because here you have to get into the shoes of the author, and from their perspective you have to understand what they're trying to convey. What we are used to is we read a comprehension and understand what we are able to understand from it. So like this is what helped me when I started reading comprehension from the perspective of the author, that okay, this is what the author is trying to convey. Then the questions made sense, that okay, if this is the question, what is the author trying to say from this? Then you are able to get closer to the answer, that okay, from this sentence the author is trying to convey this, so probably this is the answer. This is
Got
also
it.
a little tricky. Here also, with more practice, you have to yourself identify the problem here, because इसमें कोई आपको help नहीं कर सकता. मतलब because अगर आपको लग रहा है A आंसर है और question मतलब आंसर की में दिया है ना A नहीं C है, तो you can't, there's nobody who will tell you कि why C is the answer and why A is not the answer. You have to understand yourself. मतलब वो हो सकता है कि तुम खुद को थोड़े बीच में मतलब गलत समझा रहे हो शायद, बट एज द टाइम passes by you'll able to get the hang of okay, why C is the answer, okay, author is trying to tell this. मैंने तो A समझा था, बट author के तरफ से C है, तो इसलिए C आंसर है. So that is the about reading comprehension. I think in reading comprehension also there are 4 RCs. what is suggested is, given the time and given verbal ability, you can do, yeah, like you should try to do three. And I used to start with reading comprehensions first and then go to verbal ability, because reading comprehensions में obviously टीटा क्वेश्चंस नहीं है, तो उसमें नेगेटिव मार्किंग होता है. वर्बल एबिलिटी में वैसे भी आई वाज दैट वाज नॉट माय स्ट्रेंथ, और मेरे को पता था कि गलत होने वाला है, एंड देन नेगेटिव मार्किंग भी नहीं था, तो आई यूज्ड टू कीप दैट एट लास्ट. ठीक है, फिर भी 10 मिनट अगर बच गया तो जितना आता है उतना मैं कर दूंगी. दैट इज हाउ आई वेंट अबाउट द पेपर. थोड़ा ज्यादा आई थिंक आई स्पोक.
I got it. People are like थोड़ा टेक्निकल हो गया भाई, ये तो हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि वर्बल और ये सब, बट ठीक है. राइट, डेफिनेटली दिस माइट हेल्प यू आउट टू स्ट्रक्चराइज योर थॉट प्रोसेस. राइट, सो नाउ जस्ट वांटेड टू नो कि ठीक है, यू सेड यू नीड 6 months ऑफ अ टाइम टू प्रिपेयर फॉर अ कैट. राइट, यू नीड टू डिवोट अ प्रॉपर टाइम, बट कितना देर पढ़ना पड़ता है? हाउ मच आवर्स वी नीड टू स्टडी एवरी डे?
सीए जितना तो नहीं पढ़ना पड़ता है ऑनेस्टली. तो
अच्छा.
एंड ऑल्सो दिस इज नॉट हैवी, राइट. दिस ये सब ऐसा चीजें हैं. सिर्फ मैथ्स में तुमको कॉन्सेप्ट्स लर्न करने पड़ेंगे अगर तुम भूल गए कि ज्योमेट्री में क्या, पाइथागोरस थ्योरम एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. बट वर्बल लेवल लाइक इंग्लिश एंड लॉजिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन, तो यू कैन स्टार्ट इवन टुडे. लाइक इवन इफ टुडे यू स्टार्ट द easy ones, you will be able to do. So it's not like you have to learn something in order to start your preparation. So in that way it becomes a little easier. That okay. So starting में I think you can give like 3 hours, 2 hours at least daily, and on the weekends it can go up to 4 to 5 hours. But what is important for exams like CAT is you give a lot of mock tests.
Okay.
So at least starting September, you should give at least one mock test per day and analyze what you did wrong in that mock test.
Got
So
it.
giving like September tak, hopefully if you cover all your concepts, at least maths me you have to cover a few concepts, and you do some practice of English and logical interpretation. 40 मिनट्स का पर सेक्शन, एक सेक्शन 40 मिनट्स का होता है, तो 3 सेक्शंस 2 घंटे का पेपर होता है. और फिर अगर आधा 1 घंटा एनालाइज करना, तो 3 घंटे में यू कैन गिव वन मॉक टेस्ट एंड एनालाइज. सो स्टार्टिंग सितंबर यू कैन जस्ट फोकस ऑन गिविंग मॉक टेस्ट्स.
Got it.
ऑल्सो दैट्स व्हाट आई डिड.
ठीक है, ठीक है, गॉट इट. एंड नाउ कमिंग टू, ठीक है, ये सब प्रिपरेशन हो गया, ऑल दिस स्टफ इज डन. सो हाउ टफ इज टू गेट इनटू आईआईएम्स? बिकॉज जनरली पीपल दोस आर वाचिंग दिस, राइट, विल बी टारगेटिंग एबीसी और top 10 IIMs which is there. So what is a cutoff in each IIM? Are chartered accountants given a special privilege in this IIMs or what? तो थोड़ा सा we could brief about it.
Yeah, so chartered accountants are given so every institute has a different way of scoring candidates when it comes to admission process. So
Okay.
CAT percentile has as certain points, and then your academic background also has certain points. So CA is a profession that they give extra points to, and in some colleges there are extra points for girls also because they bring in that gender diversity. So yeah, CA gets you extra points, and also for CAs. So in a batch of 400, there'll be around 20 CAs. That is 20 or 22. That also actually changes with colleges, because IIM Kozhikode has a higher CA ka batch, but at IIM Ahmedabad we are 20, and the cutoff is 97 percentile. So I know people with 97 percentile also who have gotten calls. So there are
Okay.
2 steps in the admission process. पहले तो आप कैट देते हो, आप नवंबर में कैट देते हो, दिसंबर में आंसर की आता है. So basis the answer key, you will know what are your marks. And then there are a lot of websites that tell you that okay, basis this marks, this is maybe your percentile. And then
अच्छा.
in Jan they release your percentile.
Okay.
So then in Jan you have some idea कि okay, ABC से कॉल आने वाला है या नहीं आने वाला है, कोई गुड से आने वाला है नहीं आने वाला है. If you are 98 percentile above, definitely you're going to get a call from ABC. If you have some workex, fresher ka I'm not sure how. So even workex is given points. The number of months that you worked for also have different, also has a weightage when it comes to this admission criteria. So fresher को आई थिंक थोड़ा सा ज्यादा परसेंटाइल लाना पड़ेगा, बट नॉर्मली 98 परसेंटाइल के ऊपर तो आ ही जाएगा. और 97 परसेंटाइल के ऊपर है तो इट्स अ लिटिल डाइसी. कोई कोर्स से तो कॉल आ ही सकता है, ए और बी से मे और मे नॉट कम. So that is the percentile range. Now they'll give you a call. Call means you've been shortlisted for that institute. Now after shortlisting, there'll be an interview. And for some campuses, there is also a written essay kind of a thing.
अच्छा.
For Bangalore and Ahmedabad, there is a essay kind of a thing. For Ahmedabad, it's called AWT, and for Bangalore, it's called VAT something. So it's like a 20 minutes thingy you have to write on a topic. Now, after you percentile आने के बाद, call आने के बाद, everybody is on the same level now. Nobody is going to look at your percentile. This was only for you to get into. get into the shortlist. Now you have to crack the interview.
Okay.
तो फेब मतलब अगेन जैन से आप इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट कर दो. Once you know that you're going to get a call from ABC, you should start your interview prep. Now, what do you usually prepare for interview prep? I may probably cover that in a different question, but
बस
हाँ,
एक दो क्वेश्चन आप बताओ कि किस टाइप के क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, थोड़े से
तो
फनी टाइप के। हाँ।
फनी कुछ भी पूछ
हाँ।
सकते हैं. दैट एटलीस्ट सीएस को तो यही पूछेंगे दैट व्हाई डू यू वांट टू डू एन एमबीए, बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी आर अ सीए, तुमको एमबीए क्यों करना है.
हाँ।
Then they'll ask you what you've done in your life and what do you want to change about it. It's not your usual job interview ka where they ask you technical questions. They'll ask you, so how your interview prep should be is take a Word document and write everything that you've done in your life till now on that Word document. They can ask you anything about it. छोटी सी छोटी चीज हो सकती है कि you may say that you, if I am from Thane, I'll tell them in my tell me about yourself that I'm from Thane. They can ask you anything about Thane. They can
अच्छा।
ask you about politics in Thane. They can ask you about and the environment in Thane. They can even give you a guesstimate that, okay, tell me how many trees are there in Thane, how many cars are there in Thane. So, like, here you have to be quick on your toes and you have to be honest, genuine, and you have to show them that, okay, you're using your brain to answer these questions. Because what is most important in MBA is your analytical skills. तो उनको बस यही दिखाओ. फिर जनरल नॉलेज के बारे में होना चाहिए पता. जैसे कि मेरे टाइम पे रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर वाज गोइंग ऑन, सो दे यूज्ड टू आस्क मी अबाउट दैट. देन देयर वर द इलेक्शंस. दिस टाइम दे कैन आस्क अबाउट इलेक्शंस. So yeah, they can ask you about anything under the sun.
ओके।
So, and obviously you can't prepare for anything. So इसलिए not knowing is still better than answering rubbish. So you can tell them that, okay, I'm not aware of this particular concept or this particular what is going on here. I'll read up about it and I'll learn about it. But then they'll ask you another question. सीए के मतलब सीए सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में भी पूछ सकते हैं. Like for me, they ask me what are your favorite subjects, and then if they are kind, they'll ask you about those subjects. If they are not, they'll ask you subjects other than those.
अच्छा।
तो मतलब इट्स अ गेम थियरी कि तुमको पता नहीं कि वो क्या पूछेंगे. तो शुड यू आंसर योर स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट सब्जेक्ट्स और शुड यू आंसर योर वीकेस्ट सब्जेक्ट्स. बट या दे कैन आस्क यू अबाउट कॉन्सेप्ट्स अबाउट सीए. बट फिर वापस सीए बुक्स पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. जैसे अगर तुम लॉ है तुम्हारा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट, दे कैन आस्क यू बेसिक क्वेश्चंस लाइक what are independent directors, and then they can link it to directors of your company where you've done articleship, or director of some client where you've done an audit. So basically तुमको सब कुछ पता होना चाहिए तुम्हारी जिंदगी में तुमने क्या किया है, और जो भी रिलेटेड है या एसोसिएटेड है तुम्हारी जिंदगी में जो तुमने किया है उससे वो कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. अगर तुम्हारा फेवरेट स्पोर्ट फुटबॉल है तो वो कोई 1998 के मैच के बारे में भी पूछ सकते हैं. तुम उनको बता देना कि तुमको अगर तुम्हारा फेवरेट प्लेयर मेसी है तो तुम्हें उनकी पूरी जन्म कुंडली के बारे में पता होना चाहिए. इफ द इंटरव्यूअर इज आल्सो फैन ऑफ मेसी देन यू आर गॉन. मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग यू आर गॉन, बट you should have that passion
ट्रू।
to know everything about that personality so that you can answer any question about him,
गॉट इट।
especially if it's in the news.
Got it. Got it. Great. So, two, three favorite question for which lot of students are waiting for कि सर ये क्वेश्चन तो पूछो ही पूछो. After doing an MBA, सैलरी कितना मिलता है?
So depends, okay? There are placements 3 दिन में होते हैं, and I'll tell you what are the major domains that come here for hiring. First is fin companies, which include IB, markets, equity research, and you have your PEVCs also who come to hire. Then there are management consulting firms, top firms, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, and Carney, and there are a lot of other consulting firms also that come. Then you have marketing firms. A lot of people like CAs also go for marketing. Then there are product management companies who usually prefer software engineers who can code and who have some background in product management companies. And then there are general management roles which groom you to become a leaders of a particular operation. Say, so Tata Administrative Services is a popular one here, where they have a management trainee program where they'll hire some people to do roles in different all of their Tata sister companies. So these are the domains. Now the highest paying among them are Fin. So IV pays the highest, and IV markets PVCs. PVCs actually pay the highest, and they also hire the lowest. So you
अच्छा।
have to be extraordinary in the batch. Like at least summers में it is comparatively easier to go into Fin. And okay, let me tell you that दो मतलब समर्स होता है और फाइनल्स होता है. समर्स में यू इंटर्न फॉर 3 months, And then if you like you as a candidate, they'll give you a pre-placement offer. If they give you a pre-placement offer, you don't have to sit for finals. You can accept that offer. फिर तो
Okay.
तुम चिल मार सकते हो एमबीए में. तो पूरा गेम समर्स के ऊपर है. But fin companies don't give PPOs. So a lot of people want to do fin, but they end up going to different domains because they want that job security that okay मेरे को pre-placement offer मिलेगा, PPO मिलेगा और मुझे बाद में वापस बैठने की जरूरत नहीं है. But people who are very passionate about fin, they still go into fin. तो PVC usually नहीं देती है PPO. Markets और IB में फिर भी मिल जाता है, but they take like 2 people from the batch or 3 people from the batch. So if there are 4 banks that are coming, there are maximum 20 students that they're going to take. Whereas in consulting, they are the mass hirers in MBA. Like McKinsey, Bain, PPO, McKinsey, Bain, BCG combined will take some 60 people. So that is the statistics. Now, figures से बताना है क्या?
थोड़ा range.
So if you are in IB, it will be anywhere upward of I think 40. 40 is base. And then variable is also 100%. मतलब you may get 100%, but usually they don't give you 100%. They give like 20-30% of that 100%. So that will be your total package. And PVC
What
में
is including variable or excluding?
40 is just fixed.
अच्छा, इज फिक्स, मतलब 60 तक जाएगा.
हाँ 60 तक जाएगा. और वैसे तो पूरा CTC 80 का होता है. 40+40 या 40 तो मिनिमम, 80 मिनिमम बोल रही हूँ मैं. 1 करोड़ का भी पैकेज है, बट 2-3 लोग ही जाते हैं. PVC में इट इज अराउंड 60-70 बेस, like fixed, and I think they also have a decent amount of variable, but yeah, they usually hire institute rankers. So if you're in the top 10 of the batch, you have a good chance of going there. Now coming to consulting firms, MBB have similar package across. They have around 30 fixed and they have around 10 variable, I think. So then the downside of going to consulting is the little lesser pay. Then marketing usually have 25 to 35K range में होता है, depending on if you're in sales and marketing or if you're a brand manager. General management roles also have around that package. And product management roles like Microsoft and Google, they usually come to hire people who have around higher work experience, like 3 साल या 2 साल के ऊपर के work experience they prefer, especially people who have had that kind of a background. तो वो भी कुछ 30 के ऊपर होता है. तो that is also in the same range as consulting. So this is, yeah. And but everything comes with their
लोअर
con.
साइड. लोअर
Instead
साइड भी
like
बता दो. लोएस्ट पैकेज कितना जाता है?
नहीं, lowest तो like, see, this year is a little difficult. I don't know if you all know, but a lot of IIMs are facing difficulties in placing all their students. So at least now we have a lot of companies who are offering roles with a lower package. But yeah, वो ये साल है, next time तक ठीक हो जाएगा. But I was trying to say that on the plus side, you see 70 lakhs as IB ka package, but you have to work for 18 hours and more than 18 hours every day. So if you are up for it, to hi lo, because I know a lot of people who go into summers mein IB, but then they say this is not my cup of tea, and then they move into consulting or they may move into other roles. So yeah, that is the.
Got it. Great. I think
And also, I would suggest don't do MBA for the package. Because I know a lot of people and even family members have hopes that okay, MBA up to 1 crore का package आ जाएगा, but that is not the case. I mean, you come here for the experience and for the value addition that is going to do to your career, but not for the package.
got it. Great.
Because then
Now
you will be disappointed.
coming to the fee structure, मतलब मोटा मोटी कितना खर्चा आता है within 2 years, मतलब how much money and
Uh,
बैंक
yeah.
लोन कितना होता है और कितने साल लोन चलता है? Just a brief.
Yeah. So fees is 25 lakhs for 2 years combined. So this includes accommodation and everything. It does not include food. तो मेस का सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना पड़ता है. मैंने तो मतलब मुझे पता नहीं है, मैंने लिया नहीं कभी. We usually order. So this is for the term fees. These are all the term fees and the accommodation fees and everything. Now electricity bill अलग से आता है, but most postgraduate colleges have single occupancy rooms, so you don't have to share a room. And at least at IIM Ahmedabad, as you can see, अच्छा दिख नहीं रहा है, but it's like the new campus is very amazing. You have an attached washroom, you have an air conditioner, you have space to dry your clothes, सब कुछ है. तो रहने का कुछ खर्चा नहीं होता है, खाने का खर्चा होता है. And most IIMs, A, B, C, L, XLRF, have something called the exchange program. So in your term 4, they send you, like, you have they send you abroad depending on your rank in the institute. So the top 100 people get to go abroad, and there only your term fees is covered. Your accommodation and all is not covered. So that will cost more, around 6 to 8 lakhs more. So total, if you opt for the exchange program, it'll be around 30 to 32 lakhs. Both the term fees and the exchange amount, both are funded by the bank. So you can take loan for both. So the disbursement amount is around 35 lakhs if you take for both. And given like package to sunai hoga, you can easily repay it within the next 2 years.
Okay, got it. तो मोटा मोटी 30 to 40 लाख का खर्चा आएगा on a higher side and
35 तक जाएगा, I think, max. And the all the schools have tie-ups, right? You can negotiate the interest rates as soon as, like, there'll be a WhatsApp group with the bank. CBI का होता है, SBI का होता है. You can go for fixed rates, floating rates, depending on what your batch wants. And then उसके हिसाब से negotiate कर सकते हो कि कितना interest चाहिए, क्या कैसे होना चाहिए.
got
कैंपस के पास ही रहता है एक branch.
it.
And हाँ. And also, you get a lot of perks, right? You get an SBI Aurum card for free. You get an ICICI card for free, which is usually 10,000. इसमें तुम unlimited movies देख सकते हो, ये सब तो हाँ. And मतलब perks भी है, but हाँ.
Got it. बड़ा 35 लाख का लोन भी तो चुकाना है.
अब वो 1-2 साल में मतलब that is a win-win. That's what I'm saying. Like
That
what?
is a con, yeah, got it. But generally, what is the repayment cycle people follow? 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. मतलब
Oh,
डिपेंडिंग, अभी 1 करोड़ की अगर नौकरी लग गई है तो बैंक को दे दो, अगर तुमको देना है तो पूरा पैसा.
got it. Great. So now what we'll do, we'll open the forum for our students, those who are here, right? जिनको भी doubts है, right? And those who are connected from YouTube and Zoom, right? Zoom वाले hand raise कर सकते हैं, but if you want to ask a question, you are supposed to keep your videos on so that we can put you on a spotlight and then we'll ask the questions one by one. और जो Zoom वाली, YouTube वाली जनता है, you can ask the questions on the chat, right? We'll be happy to answer whatever questions are there. ठीक है, तो जिसको भी डाउट है बेशरम होके, राइट, डोंट हेजिटेट, प्लीज आस्क द क्वेश्चंस. यस
Yeah.
मैम.
Hi, sir. Hi, and hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for having this call. I have one particular question. I'm not a ranker CA, but I want to apply for IM ABC. How can I make my profile stand out?
So there are like, if you want CAs, वैसे ही stand out, but within CAs also, if you want to make your CV stand out, uh, people prefer, like, it's not preferred, but it stands out if you have like a work experience with probably a venture fund or a PE, which I know is difficult to get at that level, or you've had a back-end IB role, which is offered to a lot of CAs. That may add a little more value compared to the others. I'm not saying that is necessary, and I'm not saying that being a ranker also adds value. As I said, अभी ऐसा कुछ रहा नहीं है, but that is something that you may probably look for. uh, but हाँ, उसके अलावा even a very good CAT percentile is also a standout for CAs, as I said, because 98% के ऊपर usually लेते हैं. If you have like a 99.9 percentile, or if you have a 99.7 plus percentile, that is also a standout for CAs, because they don't usually expect CAs to be that good when it comes to CAT, which is mostly quant heavy or something like that.
Got it. Thank you.
ग्रेट. जस्ट ऑल्सो वांटेड टू नो भविष्य, हाउ इज लाइफ इन IIM. मतलब ऐसा क्या होता है कि लोग बोलते हैं कि उधर की लाइफ अलग है, मतलब थोड़ा सा जेलस फील करवा सकते हो नाउ.
हाँ, तो मैं बोलती हूँ. So there are a lot of opportunities that are given to you, right? There are 56 clubs at IIM Ahmedabad. So
ओके.
56 clubs means there is even a club to feed the dogs at IIM Ahmedabad. But there is a club for dance, there is a club for acting, there is a club for making videos, there's a music club. So whatever is your passion, and even if you've not tried that yet, there are a lot of opportunities for you. And there are a lot of bonding activities that are actually encouraged by the institute. So in the first year, in the first term itself, there is the cultural event that is like a section rivalry for cultural competitions like acting or dancing. So I'll tell you, the average time an IIM student sleeps is 3 a.m. and he has to wake up for an 8 a.m. class. That is,
फिर से बोलो, ये लोग को समझ में नहीं आया. मैं इनको रात तक बिठा के रखता हूँ 2 बजे तक, ये लोग
हाँ,
घूमते रहते हैं.
and nobody complains about this life because everybody is enjoying. This is what they want to do. They're with their friends 24/7. मतलब सब साथ में हो रहा है, पढ़ाई साथ में हो रही है, टाइम पास साथ में हो रहा है. We have a sports complex which is open till 2 a.m. So you have people playing badminton till 2 a.m. There are a lot of eateries which you will never find empty. रात के 2-2:30 बजे भी 7 बजे तक खुला रहता है, मैगी मिलती है, people are chilling over there. So I mean, this is just, I don't know how to express it in words, but yeah, these are the opportunities that they give you. I had never participated in sports, and here I was the sports person of one tournament. I mean,
अच्छा.
it just changes you as a person. You can try anything. So, like I said, there's a section rivalry war. उसमें जो स्लेजिंग होती है, मतलब उसमें जो सपोर्ट दिखता है तुम्हारे टीम मेंबर्स का, और जो तुमको स्लेज करना है सामने वाली टीम की, उसमें इतना मजा आता है, उसमें इतने झगड़े होते हैं, एंड द इंस्टीट्यूट डज नॉट इंटरफियर. So it's like like an event that is organized by your seniors for you. Then there are a lot of uh, all festivals are celebrated at such a level here. Then there are concerts that happen. Sunil Chauhan was here just last week for us. And then if you are in the core team, you get an opportunity to take like chat with her or take photos with her. Then there is a 3-day ka event called Chaos that happens. I saw that question.
Ignore.
Event that happens. There are a lot of speakers that come in. The External Relations Minister of India was here. Chetan Bhagat comes. Your alumni comes. You can connect to their alumni. The alumni network is really strong here. Then there are a lot of speakers from marketing industry, from movies, from writing industry that come here. You have a lot of opportunities to interact with them. तो जो भी तुम्हारे दिल के ख्वाब थे तुम यहाँ आके पूरे कर सकते हो is what I feel.
Yeah, you're making me convinced to join and do
I have
MBA.
told multiple times.
ठीक है, I regretted it, but ठीक है, still. I
But
have
yeah.
friends there now, I can say it proudly. Great. Yes, I think ज्योति have a question. ज्योति ने तो मुझे 10 बार बोल दिया था कि सर एमबीए का सेशन जब लगाओगे मेरे को स्पॉटलाइट पे डाल देना. लो ज्योति, आज पूछ लो, तुम जो पूछना है पूछ लो.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for such an insightful all the points which you have given. Firstly, I had a question that I have done my graduation from an open university, IGNU, the collaboration
Yeah.
program which we have with ICI BCom AF.
Yeah.
So, does it make any like issue or does it has any negative point like it
No.
doesn't create an edge or something?
So it does not create an edge, but it does not dilute your degree also. So एक बार once you are a CA, nobody is going to look at your BCom degree. Like nobody is going to even look at the marks that you got in BCom. It is of no importance. There are students who have not done a undergraduation degree, have only done a CA degree. Like a lot of us do because we don't know if we'll become a CA or not. But a lot of my friends have done BCom from IGNO. So it is nothing like it does not dilute the value of CA or anything. People know that you are doing articleship while you're doing your BCom. So yeah, that is a well-known fact. Also, I think somebody asked me before, how can my CV stand out? If you do a CFA also, right? So that's something that you can add more value to your CA. There are a few positions like markets and all that are open probably for candidates who have some sort of knowledge in markets. So CFA will can help you there to get such kind of roles. Also, it may add a little value because it's a professional degree in addition to CA. So yeah. Yeah.
Like in IGNU, like the grade cards or the certificates we get very delayed. Like there's chances like for 2 years people don't get that certificate. So if one is not having that holding that certificate but has given the exams, so should they put it as they have completed their graduation in the application form or
Yeah. So I'll tell
should
you, the process of making CV is very different here. So एक छोटी चीज भी अगर तुमको लिखनी है तो you have to prove it. That's an advice that I want to give you all. कि even if you want to write that you were first rank in school, there's a placement committee here that will overview your CV creation process, and they'll verify all proofs before you can write something in your CV, because that is something that they take very seriously here. So अगर तुमको लिखना है कि तुमने स्कूल में पेट्रियोटिक कंपटीशन में फर्स्ट प्राइज लाया है, you have to have a certificate from the school on their letterhead, stamped and signed by the principal, that you have won this competition in this year. So many people participated, we won the first prize. That is what you have to get, and only after that you can write in your CV that this is what I've done. So in your case, if you think like if you don't have something to prove, and if your placement committee mentor is not satisfied with the proof, you will not be able to put it in your CV. So a lot of people had not completed the that technical thing.
ITTOC training.
You are supposed to complete that before you get your membership number, right? You need a membership number to prove that you are a CA here. क्योंकि प्लेसकॉम मेंटर सीए नहीं है तो उनको पता नहीं है कि प्रोसेस कैसे चलता है. So if you have a document like your membership number and your membership certificate, so I'm like advising everybody to complete all those things if you are planning on doing MBA, so that you can write CA. One of my friend had not completed it, so she had to complete it and then she could put that in her CV. So yeah,
Got
like, agar you want to write anything in your CV, you should have a proof for it. Like for me, as I was if I was a mentor in CA Monk, Shivam had given me his visiting card and he had given me on mail that she was a mentor. And then after I showed all these proofs, they let me write it on my CV. So yeah.
And
got
in
it.
the CV part, like you, I have not done any like hobbies. I have not played at any level like school, like state level, district level, or something. I have only played for fun. So can I write it as my hobby, or should I avoid writing it?
नहीं ये बहुत आगे का सोच रहे हो, मतलब दिस इज
Huh.
लाइक यू गेट
Yes.
इनटू एमबीए एंड देन यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ मेकिंग अ सीरीज, तो ये थोड़ा आगे का है. बट हॉबीज यू कैन राइट. अगेन व्हेन आई से यू आर राइटिंग इट एज अ हॉबी, interviewer can ask you anything about that, so you make sure that you know what you're writing, but you can write it as your hobby. And I understand, and that was the case with all the CAs with us also, that we didn't have a lot of things to write in extracurricular activities or in position of responsibility, which a lot of other
Right.
people in your batch will have. A lot of engineers who have an undergrad experience, 4 साल उन्होंने कॉलेज में किए, they were part of different clubs, they were part of different sports activities, तो उनके पास बहुत कुछ रहता है लिखने को. बट हमारे पास भी आर्टिकलशिप है थोड़ा सा लिखने के लिए, हम थोड़ा कुछ स्कूल में कुछ किया होगा, कॉलेज में कुछ किया होगा. यू कैन राइट दैट यू कैन थिंक लाइक दिस इज अभी बहुत बात की बात है.
True,
So
true.
we can write articleship as the position of responsibility.
अरे नहीं नहीं, तुम इतना टेंशन मत लो. अभी तुम पहले कैट प्रिपेयर करो, जब हो जाएगा तब देन यू प्रिपेयर अ सीवी. अभी से
हाँ,
सीवी का उसका टेंशन ना लो.
एक पेज ही लिखना है, ज्यादा नहीं लिखना है, एक पेज ही लिखना है. एंड इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस में आर्टिकलशिप एक्सपीरियंस लिख सकते हैं.
Okay. A class question, sir. So sorry.
हाँ,
I know I have a lot of doubt.
you can connect
So
with Bhavishya after this also, no problem. He's like, हाँ.
eh,
Yes. Please, please.
yes, sir. So my doubt, last doubt is like I am planning for doing, matlab, to appear for CAT just after CA, like as a fresher, and not after working for 2 years. So I know that I have to score a high percentile and I have to build that much of CAT score for getting IM calls. But apart from that and apart from the experience part, is there anything else which can hold me back from getting the calls?
नहीं. So as I said, I don't know many people who don't have a work experience, like CAs who don't have work experience. There's one guy in our batch and he had like a very good percentile and he also got good opportunities for summers as well. So there's nothing that will hold you back. Just that in order for you to stand out, you may probably need to get a higher percentile.
Oh,
Got it.
thank you so much.
Great. So, Bhavishya, is it true that in B school when you enter, right, definitely you should be preparing your CV, or generally you prepare your CV in the first year itself, right? मतलब.
So this was kind of a shock for me also because we joined in June. And August में preparation चालू हो गया था. So by August we had to have all the proofs in place and be ready with the first draft of CV. So it's a
Got
very fast pace. But वही एक बार summers हो जाए तो कुछ नहीं करना है. So November तक when the interviews happen, you are pressed for time. That is the time where all these cultural events also happen. Your club runs happen. बहुत ही interesting और exciting time होता है वो. But at the same time, so what I believe is the academics is not very difficult here. MBA को क्यों प्रेफर करते हैं जॉब्स के लिए? बिकॉज दे हैव दैट स्किल ऑफ मल्टीटास्किंग एंड हैंडलिंग प्रेशर सिचुएशंस. दैट इज व्हाट दे आर ट्रेनिंग यू फॉर. If you are able to do that, then it's a cakewalk for you.
ठीक है, इतना तो मैं कर सकता हूँ. ग्रेट. ग्रेट. बट द ओनली प्रॉब्लम विद द सीए इज, सीए बनने के बाद लोग सीवी बनाने की बात करते हैं. यहाँ पे कुछ लोग हैं जिनका अभी तक नहीं
हाँ.
पता कि कैसे बनाते हैं. बी स्कूल में उल्टा है, पहले सीवी बनाओ फिर घुसो अंदर, राइट? तो दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थॉट प्रोसेस व्हिच आई
एंड
जस्ट वांट.
इट्स वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट हियर. एज आई सेड, प्रूफ इकट्ठा बनना था. एक ही फॉर्मेट में तुम बना सकते हो. ग्रे कलर का एक सीवी होता है,
हाँ, आई सीन
सबसे
दैट.
अच्छा नहीं दिखता है
वन
बट
पेजर सीवी है ना?
हाँ. हाँ.
यू गाइस आल्सो फॉलो वन पेजर. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Great. Okay, great. So we'll take the last question. Nitika have the question. Nitika, yes.
Yeah, so hi Bhavya, Bhavishya, thank you so much for joining us and guiding. So I just have a question like if we are already targeting management consultancy or IB as a fresher, and if by luck and by chance we get that particular domain, so should we still do the MBA like after 2 years? Like it will give us any edge in that domain category or not?
So for IB especially, CS they take for the back-end roles, back-end or mid-level roles. Here you'll get the front-end roles where you actually interact with the client. So that is the difference when it comes here. But management consulting, as far as I know, BCG offers, I think, rankers to interview with them. But I'm not sure if MBB are open to taking CAs.
And
Uh,
maybe this time is not hiring, Nitika. Yeah.
Yeah.
they only prefer MBAs. So the roles that are offered to a CA versus a postgraduate, MBA postgraduate candidate are a little different.
Okay.
The roles are a little different. So yeah.
So
But
it,
it's not that if you are in back, like it is a little difficult if you are in back end to get to front end. And MBA definitely helps there. But it also adds the advantage of 2 years of college life, which you probably
yeah,
might.
yeah, correct.
Great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Great, great, great. So great, guys. I think we have covered most of the questions. I know there are few questions which are still there, right? So what I would request to you guys, those who have any more questions, I can put those questions in the YouTube or comment section. Definitely, I'll collate those questions and answer it, or I'll ask Bhavishya to please answer it out, right? But definitely, I think everything summarized in a better way, right? How the journey is, what all steps you need to do, and definitely adding a more knowledge will never go a waste, because I always feel and believe that the best investment you can make it is always for yourself and for your career. यहाँ जितना इन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे उसका आरओआई का कोई लिमिट नहीं है. बट ऑफ कोर्स इफ यू इन्वेस्ट योर मनी इन एफडीज और शेयर मार्केट्स, देयर इज अ लिमिट, है ना? 7%, 10%, 15%, 20%, राइट? बट यहाँ पे जब एजुकेशन में डाल रहे हो उसका कोई लिमिट नहीं है. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच वी ऑल्सो वांटेड टू पास ऑन, राइट? ऐसा नहीं है कि करना जरूरी है, बट यस करोगे तो डेफिनेटली विल गिव यू एन एज, राइट? लास्ट क्वेश्चन भविष्य, कि इज इट नेसेसरी कि सिर्फ मतलब कौन से बी स्कूल टारगेट करना चाहिए, या कहीं से भी करो तो चलता है? जस्ट अ लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
Also, I think मेरे को और एक चीज बोलनी थी that all the IIMs, it's a general management that you do. There are specific colleges where you want to do, like in SPJM, there are you do MBA specifically in finance, you do MBA specifically in operations, and in some I think TIS is MBA in HR, and there are a few there are a few institutes where you specifically choose the domain where you want to do your postgraduate in. IIMs में ऐसा नहीं है. So yeah, I think what I forgot the question.
Second is which all colleges they can target. Yeah.
So I think Blackie, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Kozhikode, Indore, Lucknow. These are all the old IIMs which are held a little over the others in the industry. So it's good to have done MBA from these colleges and excel and good companies like I know McKinsey, Bain, BCG. They go to these colleges to hire. And then there's FMS. FMS ka ROI is very high because their fees is very low.
Okay.
And yeah, there you can I think repay within a year or so. And a similar kind of companies go to FMS, but then again it is a little मतलब ranking में थोड़ा सा नीचे आता है. And then you have XLRI, which is also kind of a similar institute, which has a different entrance exam. So it's called ZAT. There are little different sections there, a little different concepts that you may need there. And then there's SPJMR, where they also have they have a admission that starts quite early than this, so that'll be a good option to have. But हाँ, I think ये कोई थोड़े top colleges है जहाँ पे top players in the industry go to higher. So I would recommend like these institutes.
Got it. Got it. Great. So great, guys. I think that's it for today's session, right? I think we had a great learning. Within an hour or so, I think Bhavishya have covered everything out. Thanks, Bhavishya, for joining in at very short notice. And definitely, we'd love to trouble you out more for upcoming sessions,
No problem.
right? And wish you guys all the best, those who have connected for this session.
All
We
the
also
best.
want to see our students doing and getting into the best companies of our world, right? और CFO बन जाओगे तो याद रखना, ठीक है? Okay, so that is what it is. So great, guys. Thanks, Bhavishya. Thanks, everyone, for joining in, and bye bye.
Thank you guys. Bye. Bye, Shivam.